Hi everybody. So today I'm going to welcome you to the kitchen, my kitchen, and I'm going to make roti, also known as chapatis, and it is the classic Indian bread that we eat. So all we need is flour, which is usually known as chapati flour or atta, and it usually just comes obviously like flour does, and what you tend to do is just add water to it until it's turned into a firm dough, and then it will look like this. Excuse the mess on the sides, that's just how it is, but this is how you want it to be like, so it's quite a firm consistency. Now the other thing you will need is a rolling pin, ideally one with handles on the sides, a tawa, which is what we put the roti on, but if you don't have a tawa you could use a frying pan as well, so it's not to worry if you haven't got a tawa. And then just a plate on the side to place them on, and just have a little bit of butter to put on top if you wish to use butter. It's not a requirement, but you can have it if you want. So now just a few things. Just make sure your surfaces are completely dry and your cooker is actually clean, and you'll see why I'm saying that. Alright, so the first thing I need to do is make the pera, and the pera is literally kind of like a circle of dough, and then what you do is just make it into a very sort of tight ball, and as you can see I'm actually using my hands to make the pera. Excuse me. And then you just place it into the flour, and then you kind of like make it into a disc with your hands. So it's like so. Place it back into the flour, which we call dura, and then you start to roll it out. Now it's entirely up to you how much flour you want to use, but the less the better. And you just literally, sorry, I don't usually roll it this high up, but I'm just trying to keep it on camera. Now, usually I do roll it a little faster, but okay, now the tawa's still heating up, so I'm going to prepare the next pera. And again, it's a similar method, or same method. And I'll just place that into the dura. Okay, now this is extremely hot, so you must be careful. Okay, and I want to just turn it up slightly higher just to start with, but the tawa will heat up the more you make, so I will be turning it down slightly after. Okay, now as you see the colour changes quite soon as you put it on there, and at this point I want to turn it quite soon into placing it on there. Now I do apologise, the tawa makes quite a bit of noise, purely because it's actually too big for my cooker, so I'll but I'll try and be as quiet as possible with it. Just try and use the excess stura that's around. Now the size of these can vary. So you have like a standard palm size, and then these are slightly larger, but yeah, then you've got extremely large roti, which sometimes can be called folicky, I think. And yeah, there's quite a lot of different types of breads that can be made from this particular flour. So it's starting to sort of get sort of darker dots on there, if you know what I mean. So I'm just doing the flat disc just over the flour rather than over the roti. Otherwise we end up with too much flour on the roti. It's not a problem, it's just sort of a little less messy when the roti is getting made on there. Now the first one does tend to be a bit slower, but here we go. I'm just taking it off the tawa, putting it directly on the heat. And it will start to puff and steam. The steam, it just kind of cooks it on the inside. Now the first one isn't always as puffed up, unfortunately. And let's go in with the second one. Again, I usually do that much faster, but I can't quite now. Yeah. So all I'm doing is just putting a little bit of butter on one roti, because this one will go on top, and it will butter the other one too. So again, just kind of rolling it out. And you kind of get a little pattern or rhythm even to how you are making these. So like while that's cooking, you could get rolling. Like so. And then once it's rolled, I could prepare the pita. And then, let's have a look. It's getting there. And while that's happening, I'm going to just disc the pita like that. And that's ready for the next one. And here we go again. So I'm hoping this will puff up even more. Please mind your hands at this point. It's very easy to get burnt, and it's extremely hot. And that's how it's supposed to be. Now you see bits of steam coming out. I'm just going to press down a little bit. All over me. Just try and get some steam out so I could hold it. I knew it would be slightly tricky doing this one, but still wanted to show you what a roti is. So I've just gradually turned it down slightly because it is starting to get quite hot. Now I must say, the steam, yes, hot steam is very uncomfortable. So please do be careful. But if you do get excessively steamed, obviously just run it into hot water. Or in fact, you could actually put some atta in that area because that will cool it as well if the atta is refrigerated. And turn that. Okay, just want to tell you a little bit more about other things that can be made with the atta. Now, you could also make buria, which are made in a similar way, but the difference being that instead of just making the atta, which is the dough, with just water, you add a little bit of salt and some oil. Bear with me. Okay. This one doesn't want to puff up as much. So what we could do. Too bad, but it's a shame when it doesn't puff up as much. But yeah, the other type of the other one. So instead of just adding water, you add oil and a little bit of salt if you wish, and basically you do the same thing with the birra, but you make them a lot smaller. So even like smaller than hand size, and instead of cooking them on a tawa, you actually sort of deep fry them, and then they puff up, and you drain off the oil, try and take away any excess as well. And yeah, those are buria. But you can imagine they're much more unhealthier purely because of the because you've deep fried it. So yeah, they're tasty but a little bit dangerous. So the other ones that are really nice are called, I think they're baduri or pature, and I think they have yogurt in them, in the actual dough, I think. I haven't had them for quite a long time, but they're fantastic. They're almost similar to naan bread, but they're not. So if they're made differently, but they're absolutely fantastic to eat. Wish I knew how to make them. But yeah, the other one we also make that's similar to roti are roti. So instead of just rolling this out and cooking it, I'll tell you in a minute. Let me get this one now. Might make less noise doing it this way. Okay, yeah, so roti. too fast, sorry. Yeah, Roti, so as I'm rolling it out like this, I would actually put butter in there. And yeah, so yeah, you put butter in them, and basically you make them into like a square. You sort of fold it. I'll see if I could do one near the end just to show you, but this roti's not going very round, is it? Oh dear. Yeah, you put butter in them and then you roll them out, and they're so much more crispier, obviously. More unhealthy, of course, with the butter, but they're absolutely fantastic to eat. They're usually considered to be had for breakfast in India, and you know, it depends what sort of job the person does. So yeah, it kind of varies. But yeah, those are Roti with the butter. Just a few more seconds. Puffing as much as they should, but still edible. Just butter the base one. And on the next. Kind of slide it out, that one did. Yeah, so yeah, the other version of Roti are aloo wali Roti, aloo and methi Roti, which is made with the butter and mashed potato or diced potato, fully cooked of course, and methi, which are, it's a herb, kind of, as you may know, we use a lot of coriander, but methi, it's, I don't know the English name, I apologise. You may have heard of it as methi, maybe, as well. But they are lovely in the Roti. And it kind of balances out the fact that we use the butter in there. So, yeah, they're pretty good to eat. You can also use clarified butter for the Roti as well. It's not entirely up to you. Yeah, these are fantastic with the dishes that I've cooked in the videos. I think with regards to how it, I think Roti is supposed to be a heat stimulant, flour is, I think, and I think rice is a coolant, based on my reading anyway. So, yeah. You need to kind of keep that in mind. And I know there's a bit of a debate about flour these days, but yeah, as long as you get something quite decent. I think spelt flour is supposed to be the best to get if you are going to have wheat, or there is another way to make it without wheat. puffing better. We're getting there slowly. Yeah, there are sort of other versions of roti without the wheat, but I haven't actually figured that out just yet. But I think, oh, sorry, so sorry. Yeah, I think it's made with mungi or flour and sort of combination. But I need to experiment with that to make a wheat-free roti. The other one. There's another roti called makki di roti, which is made from, I believe it's gram flour, and it's classically ate with saag or palak, and which is spinach basically, and other greens. I like to do that dish for you guys as well when I get the opportunity. Not as round as I usually have them because I'm doing it a bit slower. So maybe maybe that'd work out a bit better otherwise. So yeah, so that's makki di roti. And it's quite yellow. But that roti is actually quite dense. But yeah, that's definitely a classic as well. Quite hard to make though, I must admit, because you have to really press down on it, and it's not easy to roll out, so you have to use your hands quite a bit. The problem is if I problem is if I put the roti straight onto the flame, it's not puffing up as much, so ideally it's better when it's half and half. But unfortunately that's making more noise. Okay, bear with me. That one was a bit more quieter. Right, so I can make this one, and there's probably enough for one more. So if you want to reheat them, you can put them in the microwave, but personally I think that actually ruins them. It's not the same. So even though they've had a bit of butter on them, I prefer heating them back up on the tawa. So you just, light up the tawa and CoCo and yeah, just put it on there, sort of medium heat, and yeah, they do heat up better. Now this one's quite big, so it's going to have to be a bigger roti. So we'll see how that works out. It's not too bad. Let's have a look. How many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that made about 10. There's no actual measurement for it, how much flour. I mean, the more flour you make, the more roti you will get out of them, because sometimes the size of your roti varies. So if you're making quite small, of course you get more, but mine tend to be quite much bigger because my tawa is quite big as well. So now that one puffed up so much better, but I have steamed my finger. And there we go. I'll let you have the yeah, you got to see me steam my finger. Alright. Anyway. So this is the final one, which is going to be quite a large one because it's a large beer. Sorry, I don't remember what I was saying. Anyhow, yeah, you get about 10. So the more you make, the more you'll get out, and it depends on the size. And it depends on whoever's eating them. I mean, some people like to eat the roti more, and probably don't eat as much rice, whereas others may prefer the rice, so they won't have as much roti. So not doing a super job on this one, but we'll get there. So you see, the larger it is, the more tougher it is to roll out, but it's still edible. But just always make sure all the sides are even. So I think this one's turned into a folga. Massive one. I'm wondering how I'm going to get it on there now. It's almost done. Unfortunately, it does make a powdery mess everywhere, hence why I'm wearing why I have got brain fog right now. Must be my steamed finger. Keep calling it a robe in my head. That's why I'm wearing an apron. Oh well, old age I think. Right, I think this will cover it. This one doesn't seem to want to do much. That's the best I could do. Now, bear with me on this one. There we go. That's good. And I'm just going to wipe the excess flour as well. Yeah, I do get quite a bit of flour everywhere. It's going to need a bit of time, that one. Just want to butter this one. That's ready for this one on top, but it's huge. Well, if you've got extremely large hands, it won't be so huge. But just a little thing I'd like to mention for us women is nails. Of course, you know I have quite long nails now, and yeah, just make sure you give them a super scrub before you make the roti. If you do have nail varnish on, please be confident that that type of nail varnish will not chip or peel, because it will go in the roti. I'm very confident with the nail care that I've got because it doesn't chip and peel at all. But if you do have nail varnish on and you're making them, try not to touch the davar, because it will, you know, it will ruin your nails. So it's better to slide it off rather than going in with it with your finger. But you find your ways with how you do it. But yeah, I'm so glad I finally managed to get this video done for you guys. I've been meaning to make it for quite a while, but I didn't have the possibility, so it's been done today. And I really hope you guys will try this. So let's see if this one will puff up. It's trying to. It's getting there. Out of all the ones that puffed up the best, it was this big huge one. There's a little bit there that could just be steamed. And that's roti. Roti, chapati or Indian flatbread. Classic must in North Indian dishes. Actually most of India make them, I believe. And yeah, just want the steam to not catch me this time. And there we have it. Roti. Thank you for watching. Take care. And I hope you have a very good meal tonight. Bye bye.